Hello and welcome to the Middle School Bookmarkers Super Quick Read Aloud Show. This episode we are covering the novel Surviving the Applewhites by Stephanie S. Tolan. And let's jump right into our passage preview. This is from the beginning of Chapter 2. So far, so good, Jake thought. This girl was bugged by cursing and smoking. He had news for her. He intended to do a whole lot of both. He took a long drag on his cigarette and blew the smoke at her again. She turned away and moved down to the other end of the porch steps. "Doesn't bother me, girl. You can bug off completely as far as I'm concerned." Jake hadn't been any more than 2 years old when he found out how certain words affected people. It had surprised him considerably, since his parents used those words at home all the time. He learned them the same way he'd learned all the other words he knew. People didn't make a fuss when his parents used them, but once he'd seen how some adults reacted to those words when he said them, it had become a game. He could still remember the old woman with the mean, pinched-up face who told him to take his sticky fingers off the display case when his mother took him to the bakery to get a cake on his 3rd birthday. He had smiled his best little boy smile and said just 2 words. The woman had gone all white and slumped right down to the floor. The image was as clear in his mind now as if it had happened yesterday. The way she'd just disappeared all of a sudden from behind the counter, all the fuss and furor afterward made a permanent impression on him. Nobody could ever tell Jake Simple words didn't have power. If the rest of the Applewhites were anything like this girl, he thought, he ought to be able to bug them quite a lot for however long he was going to be stuck with them. He leaned back against the support post behind him and watched the smoke float out from his nostrils. He hated adults making decisions for him and expecting him to just go along with whatever they said. His parents had tried that and given up. But because of that big mistake they'd made with the sheriff's deputy, they'd been carted off to their separate minimum security prisons. And he was stuck with a bunch of strangers who didn't get it that he wasn't going to do what he didn't want to do. He would just have to show them. He intended to make this time here to be even shorter than his time at Traybridge Middle School. And now we're going to jump ahead to a further point in Chapter 2 just to give you a better taste test of the book. Welcome to Wits End, Furniture Factory, Gallery Studio, Goat Compound, and Creative Academy. Zedediah Applewhite said. When the old man let go, Jake shook his hand to make sure the blood could still get to the tips of his fingers. Then he said a few of his favorite words, just loud enough to be sure they were heard. Zedediah Applewhite didn't so much as blink. "You ought to spend a little time with Cordelia," he said. "She's taught my parrot the French for that. Spanish and Italian and German, too." Let's take a look at what Common Sense Media has to say. They say the book is appropriate for ages 10 plus. They give it a 4 out of 5 stars, and they describe it as a lighthearted tale of an eccentric family's creative homeschool. And let's check out some of the info on Amazon. They give the book a 4.5 out of 5 stars based on 275 ratings. They also say that this book is appropriate for grades 5 and 6 and above. I'm about to read the back of the book summary, but super quick. If you're a teacher or librarian, here are some ideas for common core connections to a read aloud like this. Now let's take a look at our back of the book summary. Jake Semple is notorious. Rumor has it he managed to get kicked out of every school in Rhode Island and actually burned the last one down to the ground. Only one place will take him now, and that's a homeschool run by the Applewhites, a chaotic and hilarious family of artists. Poet Lucille, theater director Randolph, dancer Cordelia, and dreamy Destiny. The only one who doesn't fit the Applewhite mold is E.D., a smart, sensible girl who immediately clashes with the defiant Jake. Jake thinks surviving this school will be a breeze, but is he really as tough or as bad as he seems? Surviving the Applewhites by Stephanie S. Tolan is a humorous book. It definitely seems funny. It also definitely is going to have some family drama. It's 240 pages, and the audiobook is 4 hours long. All right, let's wrap this baby up. Moment of truth. Is this book for you? First question you want to ask yourself is, are you interested in the plots and the characters, and do you want to know more? Then you want to figure out, can you read this comfortably by yourself? And a little bit of curiosity fuel for you. After briefly meeting Jake, how do you expect him to interact with the Applewhite family? And finally, the end of the summary reads, But is he really as tough or as bad as he seems? Do you think Jake is as bad and as tough as he acts? Alright guys, thanks for checking out that book with us. Be sure to check out some of the other stuff we have on the Middle School Bookmarkers channel, and hit like and subscribe and whatever other stuff YouTube throws down there. We'll see you later.